Here we go. Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode 476. We are here reviewing episode 1720 of Boonboomger, along with their very first actual theatrical release movie. Well, this is the only theaters. They do have another movie release later on, which was released with the V Cinema stuff. Which, yeah, well, basically here's what happens. 17 continued with the whole arc with that started episode 16, which had that special basically as a supplementary to that episode. Mostly put basically you have where the team meets up with Tsunohi at a bar that Taya just happened to purchase. I'm like, of course he can purchase it because he's rich. The one thing the series has not really explained yet, like, how does he make his money? How does he maintain that private fortune of his? Because they do mention that he basically became rich at a very young age. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good explanation of how he got the money. But what he actually did is not, well, I think it was also due to the fact he was also a delivery man, but last time I checked delivery, I think maybe it was due to possibly because he delivered expensive stuff, so he got paid handsomely for it and became rich. So, of course he can afford to buy a bar. In the movie, buys a frickin' racetrack. Yes. So, basically, it's a quite interesting one, this particular one. The big thing in episode 17, we debut, well, the robo that Brun Diesel is transforming into. Yes. Yeah, we pretty much debut his first mech form, which is basically him just transforming into like a car, like a race car. It's most of his base form that he's also got a stand-up form too. Yeah, and the stand-up one also debuts in this episode too. It actually made his last known appearance in the episode 0 for GekijōBoon. Yep. And of course this thing can also fly as well. They do in fact tease this with the future episode. Yeah. But that's most of what 17 is known for, just debuting this mech form of his. And also the fact that Boom Boom himself doesn't want to beat him. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the monsters one is Jim Grummer. Yep, all about working out with this guy. Plus, I believe he was the first monster not to have the whole, have where he's destroyed, then he just very quickly. I think this was the first time they did not do the whole have where the Yarakar or just absorbs his remain, just race and recheck and race off. Yeah, I'm guessing probably the reason why they switched this, where they have this highway portal, I'm guessing the reason why they did this is probably because, and this is my personal guess, it was probably getting expensive to keep constantly showing every episode. Yeah, it was probably a money-saving thing, so they probably want to try something different. Yeah. And then pretty much episode 18, it's like, yeah, we actually kind of hint at his backstory, Seiko, aka Burn Violet. Well, by the way, they bring back the sword he brought to Earth back in episode 16. Yeah, he comes back. You're like, that's interesting. Of course, it's basically Sword Grandma Revenge. Who else is transformed into Boom Boom Killer Classic? I think he was at this point probably the very first monster to come back in the show. Yes. Yeah. But we also have like a little past with this friend of his named Kikro Osida. Yes. Where he was a classmate of his who was a close friend who was all about racing. And you see, it was mentioned earlier he left Earth when he was 10 years old. I did look up how old he is currently when he debuts. He's 28, so that means he was gone from Earth for 18 years. They do mention kind of the reason why he left, because no adult would help him after his parents died, so he just left Earth with Burn Diesel. And of course, he's blackmailed to fight the Boonboomgers because they took his racing car from his pocket really quickly. Though thanks to the team itself, they got his card back, protect his friend and his family, and he officially joins the team with episode 18, and he has like a possible conversation with him, and then he's never seen again after this. Yeah, this is the only appearance of his friend. I would have thought that this character would become a recurring character in the series, but nope. He's just a one-shot character. 19 is interesting, to say the least. Mostly put, it's all about money for this one. Yeah, and of course, Toei has to lead the battle because he has a private fortune. Because the whole thing is about crushing how much money they have on people, and because he has so much, this will actually physically kill him. So he's told to lead the battle, and basically it's just 5 of the 6 Boonboomgers take on the monster, which they do defeat. I thought that was quite ingenious to take him out of the battle, because this occasionally does happen, but this is a more ingenious way. Oh, because he's got money, because the whole thing with money this episode. And because of his private fortune, now of course the villains don't know the fact he actually has private fortune. It was due to a very low-key conversation that Blue had basically with him, so he left. And then of course they do in fact defeat the guy. Quite interesting episode of 19. Though we do have also debut of Wing Boonboomger, and also about this particular Milky Way circuit, which of course, well, Boom Boom himself basically regrets not winning it because of him taking the safe path, because he was scared. Eventually got his fear of flying. And then we have episode 20, where it's kind of a follow-up to episode 1. You're like, that's interesting. Yes, because, get this. Maria's boyfriend, or her ex-boyfriend in the first episode, he comes back, and apparently, despite the fact he was on a flight to go to New York, he's still in Japan. Because it became mopey on the fact Maria left him. And so, the remote cap against him steering wheel, where he could get a chance to control a monster. I thought this was an interesting idea to follow up with this. I mean, why the heck it took 19 episodes after his debut to basically follow up with this, I don't know. Eventually, by the end of the episode, he was able to go back to New York anyways, as being the monster. But this was definitely a good episode. I like 20. Now, as what happens next, that's interesting because we have the show's theatrical-release movie. Now it's GekijōBoon, The Promised Circuit, which apparently was a double billing with the Gotcha movie, Kamera Gotcha, The Future Daybreak. And the whole thing is they basically work with Hakin, I think it was, this news crew. Which, this is a YouTuber who's in the show. Yeah, and this is his sole appearance. He's played by the actual guy who is him. He's here for this one movie, but he never returns after this. Nope. We do debut a couple quick characters here. One, of course, is Nicola Kidor, who, despite being a princess, basically doesn't dress like one. She doesn't have a dress. She basically is wearing a tracksuit. She's got pink hair. The pink hair is nothing unusual, but the tracksuit thing is weird. I would have thought basically she would have fled something else, but no, she wore this thing. Oh, and here's the weird thing. The remodeler captain is not in this movie. You're like, what? Yeah, he is not here. So they debuted this one-shot villain known as Catching Captain Demon Thunder, who only appears in this Saw movie. And this is interesting when it comes to him. The guy who voices this guy had previously played Red Racer in Car Ranger. Yep. So could you kind of say we kind of had Car Ranger here? Yes. Mostly put the actor play a villain. But it would have been really nice. How about a Car Ranger reunion? That would have been nice. Oh, if you're really curious, like, would last year have been anniversary for Car Ranger? Not really. It would be just the 20th anniversary. I'd say they probably would save it for a couple years now to make it sort of a 30th anniversary. But here's the weird thing. The Red Racer character, when he debuted in Car Ranger, was 23. By the time it came to Gekijō, he was 38. So that would mean by the time he would return, he'd be in his 50s. The actor plays him. Yoji Koshi. Which, if they ever did a follow with him, one thing I think would be really nice if they bring back Beauty and basically have it where she actually married him. I'm like, that would be nice. Sadly, but the character has not appeared since the end of Car Ranger. She's still very much alive. Yeah, she's just a few years younger than the actor. Okay, so she retired from acting in 1998, roughly a year after Car Ranger wrapped up. She retired, but I'm sure there'll be nothing said that she can't come out of retirement just to do a reunion. So I'm hoping at that point they would basically acknowledge the fact that maybe because these two fellow which are in the show. By the way, when she was on the show, she was only like 20. Now she's like 51 right now. So if they ever have a return, they probably have a return for a 30th anniversary special. I would say so. Yes. But so far they haven't done that yet. But my guess is they probably going to wait they probably wait till next year to do that. Yes, but do I think they should have brought back one of the Car Rangers for this show? Yes. Just like they did with Boonboomger, Car Ranger should make an appearance along with Turbo Ranger, but they just haven't yet for some reason. So you might think, what about Kira Major? I'm not sure about them yet because I haven't seen the show yet, so I don't know the. Excuse me, just that one just yet. So basically, the ISA Shinobu, where she just Shiba, where she, I want to make sure I get her name right. I don't want to be accused. I know basically here in the comments like you got the lady's name wrong. Sabu, yes. I'll call by her given name, Sabu. Where basically the ISA had decided, despite the fact that she's arrived at Earth, and apparently the villains of the show are threatening the planet with a planet-sized missile, which is a bit unusual for them. I'm like, are they desperate to get back this one princess? I mean, they tease that she has this thing around her neck. I get the fact, yes, they invaded her planet, but I'm kind of like, I'm watching this, I'm like, what does she have that they want? Because normally when they bring these people from different planets, usually they want something from these particular people to achieve something. Here it's just they just wanted to get rid of her because she's the princess. I kind of thought this Zelda villain had a motivation. It's like he was so desperate to get back this one character, and I'm kind of like, why? Oh, he does summon, like... Oh, yeah, and also, get this. They decided to, when they first introduced her, she is surrounded by a bunch of revived monsters. Wedding Dress Grimer, Soja Grimer, Sona Grimer, Dark Grimer, Toilet Grimer, Canary Grimer, Antenna Grimer, Gensa Grimer, and Resent Grimer. You know, monsters that appeared in the show? Yeah, and they make a brief return in this movie. Which, I wasn't all that surprised to see that, because this is standard toy. Movie's up, so let's use an excuse to bring back a bunch of dead monsters, but because we have their suits cut out, the costumes laying around. Yeah, that's a possible reason why. They do create Water Magic Monster, Circuit, the Circuit Grimer, which I think this had a cool look to him. And also, they somehow, for some reason, brought the Boom Boom cars to this racetrack. My guess tests it out, but then, of course, the monster takes their mechs and it sort of brainwashes them. Which I thought, the whole thing with the Circuit Grimer, I thought he was very interesting. I thought he had more thought to him than the whole princess plot. So, he gets all their mechs and eventually they got him back. Eventually he's destroyed, and then of course the captain himself was destroyed. And then they send the princess back to her own planet using the very rockets they were going to use to destroy the planet. And so Maria, who was tasked to move to keep an eye on her, gives her basically her morpher, and of course Toyote's, oh, maybe I can't make it. Well, he eventually will, don't worry. She gives it back to her, and don't worry, she will return. Unlike this one-shot captain, which will not return. Which begs the question, where the heck was the model cap in this movie? I get the fact, yes, you have the Sun Siege in this movie, fine. But I kind of wish they would have given an explanation. By the way, Bun Violet, he doesn't show up almost halfway through the movie. It's like it's one of those times where the movie forgets about the final Ranger, who had just shown up in the show. There have been times when it's happened where you have, oh, we have this brand new Ranger just show up in the show, we have a movie, and the last one shows the very last minute here. Yeah. But really cool movie. I did enjoy that. But the captain himself, aside from the actor, of course, who plays Car Racer, did a great job voicing him. The only problem is basically not much motivation. You just really want this princess back so badly. Though she had a singer on her neck. Like, ooh, maybe the captain wanted her for that. I'm like, not really. And apparently he's does make an appearance in a flashback in the show itself. Yeah. We'll talk more about that later, but not much to say about this stuff here. So that is pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. Well, next up, basically, we're back to the main show. We're actually going to do 5 straight episodes. Yep. So, the reason why, we'll find out and see. Thanks, you. Bye.